Hi, I'm Tom, and in this video I will show you how to work with Arch Space Object in FreeCAD BIM. The Arch Space command enables you to create space objects. These objects represent spaces, primarily rooms or other zones. This is an important concept because providing space is the primary reason for creating buildings. If you think about it, you don't build your house to use walls or ceilings, you build your house to use spaces. The space object can represent a room, for instance, with all its properties like area and volume, material finishes, power or heating requirements, and so on. It helps with spatial structure definition of a building, energy and indoor condition analysis, or compliance and standards. I'm using FreeCAD 1.0 in this video. If you want to follow along with me, you can download the start file, a simple garage project, from the FCB Launch shop for free. The link is in the description box below. So I'm in my start file, a simple garage models, and I will hide the roof and also these objects, and I will want to create three spaces, one for the garage space, one for the parking space, one for the storage room, and one for the toilet, the bathroom. So how will I do that? I will use the Arch Space tool, and there are two basic options how to create a space. First, you can create a 3D object of any size and then create the space from that object. And the second option is to select bounding faces, and FreeCAD will create space between these bounding faces. So first I will show you how to create a space from a 3D object. So I will look from the top view and I will create a space of this from this storage room. So first I need to create the 3D object. So I will create a rectangle and extrude it so it's a 3D object. So make sure that you have got snapping to endpoints and also this mode snapping working plane turned on. And I will start the rectangle tool and I will snap to this point as the first point and snap to this point as the second point. So I have created a rectangle which is here. And now I will use, when having the rectangle selected, I will use the extrude tool, and this has set up here, and I will do just a simple extrusion. So I will just extrude along and select the set 2500 millimeters and hit OK, and this created this 3D extrusion which is 2500 millimeters high. So now I will create a space from this extrusion. So I will select the object and fire up the space tool. And this is very simple. It creates a space object. If I extend it, you can see that it's based on the extrude object. And you can see here in the 3D view that automatically space objects are made transparent or semi-transparent, and the dashed line is showing me where the space is. You can change these properties in the view properties and change them here, but the default ones are quite nice. Now what we'll be interested in now is the data properties of the space. So first off, you can see that there's a label, and this is basically the name of the space. So instead of space, I will name it 1.02, the number, and storage, like this. You can see I could also rename it here, but this is the label. This will be the IFC name of the space. And the component information is not that interesting for us. but what's here is you can see that it has got proper IFC class assigned, a space. What we need to change is composition type, because it's not complex, but it's a room, it's just one element, so we will change it to element to be correct. And what we can add description. These are all IFC attributes of the space, which I will now not type in. You can see those predefined types is a list of possible predefined types, but what's interesting for us is the space properties, where you can see the calculated area and also whether it's heated, cooled, or just naturally vented only. This is what I will select. Power equipment, etc., or lighting power needed, number of people. So these are all requirements of the space. What I will fill in is just finish ceiling. So I will type in drywall. Finish floor, I will type in tiles. And finish wall, I will type in plaster. Okay, because we will use this data later at when working with the tag of the space. So these are the properties of the space object. Now, if I wanted to change the space size or height, I could change the base rectangle or the extrusion. So if I select the extrusion, and let's say I want to make the height not 2500 but 3000 millimeters, I can change the object and the space changes accordingly. So it's quite easy to change spaces like this. So now we have the storage room space created, and let's create the toilet room, the bathroom, and we will use the second method, and that means I will select the boundary faces. So I will have my mouse here and click on this face, and here in the selection I can see that I've got the face selected, and then with control I will select this face, and then I will rotate. With control I will select this face, and with control I will select this face. So here I can see I've got 4 faces selected. And now if I fire up the space tool, you can see that a new space object is created here. So it was created based off those selected faces, and the height is the highest point of any of those faces. So it was this one, so the height is like this. This is not correct height for us, of course, but I will show you when I will be creating space for the parking space, how to make the size of the space compliant with the slope of the roof. So let's just name the space again. Let's name it 1.03 toilet, and we could fill in those other data, but for now I will leave it as is. But now I will create also a space for the parking spot. So to also make it apply the boundary of the roof, I will hide the floor, and I will actually make the roof visible and look from the bottom, and I will select this face, and with control this face, and with control this face, and with control this face. So the wall faces are selected, and now with control I will select this roof face, and with control this other roof face. Now if I create a new space and I will hide the roof, you can see that the space conforms to the size of the room. Oh, sorry, the roof size. So this is very useful. So I will again select the space and rename it 1.1 and name it garage, because it's the garage room. And if I want to assign the same same walls and walls to these two spaces. I can select them both and go to their properties and finish the ceiling. I will type in drywall. Finish floor, I will type in tiles, and finish walls, I will type in plaster. And you can see that both of these I filled those in at once, so this is quite nice. Now let me show you a nice thing, and that is if I select this wall and move it, so I will use the move tool and move it this direction by minus 500 millimeters. If I move the wall, the spaces which are created based on the faces, they change according to how I moved the wall. So this space and this space change. This one was created based on the rectangle, so it doesn't change. This is why it doesn't change. So this is a nice property of spaces created by the bounding faces. Now let me move the wall back by 500 millimeters to the original size. And what's nice about spaces when you are creating floor plans is that you can create a tag of the room easily. And I will select my garage space and go to the view properties, and here at the bottom you have got the space and the first line and font size of the first line and other lines, and it's created automatically a tag, but the text is too small. It's only 3.5 millimeters. So if I change the first line to, let's say, 350, you can see that there's automatically a tag. And if I change the font size of the other lines to 250, you can see that that there's a area of the floor area of the space. But the problem is that it's writing M without squared, and this is because I have no font chosen. So I can click here and choose from any fonts I want. So if I choose Arial, it changes the font, and then you got the meters squared here, which is correct. Now you can change the decimal number of the area, or you can play with the text alignment. But if you are using if you want to change the text position, you have to be careful, because if you change it from 000, it will be absolute coordinates. So from the base point. So if I change it to in x1000, I know that the base of my drawing is here. So it's basically positioned from that origin point. So you have to be mindful of that. It's not from the beginning of the drawing. So I will leave the text position at 0, 0, 0, which is in the middle of the space. Now you can manage what's written here in the description of the space here in the text field. And if I click on these three buttons, you can see that there's a dollar label and dollar area, which mean it shows the label of the object, which we know is 1.1.01 garage, and the area. And I could also type any text. So let me just if I type in any text, I could this is hard written any text that I write here, but I can actually write also $ walls, which will type in the wall material, which is in the property of the space. So it's this walls property, floor property, and ceiling property. I can have them here. So if I want to have walls, and then I will type in dollar and floor and dollar ceiling. These are codes to be writing what's the material there. So I could have these, and I could also type in just the standard text like this: walls and floor and ceiling, like this. So then you can see walls is plaster, floor is tiles, ceiling is drywall. So this is nice, and we could do the same for the other space, but I will change what was the 350, 250, so I will have the same size, 250, and the font name I will type in Arial. If you don't want to select the font name and font size every time you create a space, it's actually taking values from the default draft text, and you change that by going to Edit and Preferences, and then going to the Draft section, Text and Dimension. And here you have got the default font size, but be careful, this is also used for standard draft text or for that. And you have got default font family, so I can write here Arial, and if I was to create a new space, it would automatically have the text, the Arial text. So there's not enough space here actually, so let me change this to these sizes, and I will also select Arial and 250, 150. Okay, and because I don't want to play with these, I don't want to type all of this by hand, I can go to this space, copy all of this text with Ctrl C and OK, and then select the storage and toilet and select these and hit Ctrl V to override the text, so you can use Ctrl C, Ctrl V easily. Now the advantage of these tags are that they are, of course, if you change the property of the space, the tag changes too. So if I change the name to 0.1 or 0.04 WC, hit enter, it changes here, of course. And let's say I change the garage flooring to epoxy floor, so here I will go to the data and I change the finish floor to epoxy flooring. It changes the sign too, so this is the correct BIM way of having the data just on one place, and all of the signs are changing accordingly. Now the last thing I will show you, of course you want to have these space descriptions not only in the 3D view but also in your plan views. So I have a section here, and if I will just quickly create a section from it, so I've got this shape 2D view, I will now move quickly. If you want to know how to create a floor plan correctly, I've got a tutorial created on it. So this is just a quick demonstration. I will create a group and name it drawing. And if I place the section there, and also I will create now a new page from this template, and here on the page I will place the drawing there, and I will change the scale to 0.02. Let's say like this. Now, if I want to have those signs describing the spaces, I can place those spaces inside the drawing object, and now it will be on the drawing. But of course, as a standard text, you have to manage text size here on the drawing properties. So if I change that to 4 or 5 millimeters and change the line spacing to 2 or 3, all of this I describe in more detail in my tutorial on how to create floor plans. But this is example how you can place those descriptions of the spaces on a floor plan drawing. Okay, so this is how you work with the Arch Space tool in FreeCAD BIM. We have learned how to create spaces, how to adjust them, how to create their descriptions, and how to place them onto a floor plan drawing. If you like using FreeCAD, consider supporting the project by donating to it. The link to the donate page is in the description box below. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next one.